My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Stalker. 5:21 in the morning. Well, behind the Mule Car Smokehouse? Yeah, that's a stalker. And this is the same stalker that is getting in a helicopter and worshiping me. This is the population that does not sleep, that is worshiping me and on the edge of their seat regarding everything concerning me. It is currently 5:21 a.m. This is somebody that's stalking in the middle of the night. This is P.O.C, Ontario Town Square. Who are you? They're stalking. And so is the entity using a whole airport. And this is facilitating venue H, and as in Henry and Euclid Avenue. I'm at Granada, where the entity is stalking, at Perez Law, a heavily documented third party. You see that impossible light activity? That's not their headlights. Those are stalkers that are monitoring in the city of Ontario. Those are vagina monitors. Those are demons, Nephilims, non-humans that are stalking on the roads and the highways in the dark, getting up, leaving where you live, going outside, getting in a vehicle, which is a dangerous weapon, to stalk somebody. And you're doing it with that which is impossible light activity. Where is the headlights coming from for that? It's not coming from it. These are demons. 9SQK 535, I believe. This is Perez Law, nonetheless. That's gang stalking. Fake moon over Perez Law. Fake sun over Perez Law. Stalking by helicopter at Perez Law. Stalking by the people of the state. Molestation with impossible light at Perez Law. And the demons that are inside that work at this venue, where you're being monitored while they're inside of the building and while during business hours when they're closed. They are gang stalking. They are engaged in surveillance. Gang stalking attorneys. Okay, unfit to be practicing law. This is what is inherent to a corrupt system of surveillance. This is the P.O.C. And this is the part of the population that engages in kidnapping, engages in what is facilitating gang stalking police officers, gang stalking immigrants, gang stalking criminals that are engaging in what is the maintenance of a system, keeping themselves employed. This is that game. And also when you're being gang stalked outside of a law office, those that are inside of the law office are part of that pattern of conduct. This is the P.O.C. This is going on the playlist regarding the stalkers that are gang stalking at facilitating because it's getting to the zone of relevant positioning. And you are able to see the big picture regarding surveillance that I've documented as I'm prosecuting the state. And you have the feds that are having detailed information about stalkers, where they're at, and what I'm subject to as I walk through the neighborhood being gang stalked by sex offenders, by demons. This is the P.O.C. You're a sex offender. You can't. Not only are you stalking me, but you can't help but touching me, and you're touching me in supernatural means. That's how much of a sex offender. That's how much of a psychopath. That's how much of a stalker they are. The demon possessed. P.O.C. It is currently 5:59 a.m. at Perez Law Group. My documentation has me here under the fake sun in the morning, where this population is engaged in assault and battery, sexual assault and battery with impossible light. P.O.C. All right, the entity is stalking with amplified plane activity at 208 South Euclid Avenue. Very heavily documented venue right here. And it's 6, the time is relevant because 4 hours from now, the Upland police are stalking here. The Upland police are stalking there at the Arco. The Upland police are stalking at the Chevron. In the evening, 12 hours from now, the Upland police are gang stalking by helicopter with the military. The people of the state are engaged in criminal summoning. The entities engaged in what I documented on video yesterday, walking on Euclid Avenue. And this is why the city of Upland, many of whom are documented by license plate, you could see them associated with terrorism by helicopter, and they are all subject to what is realizing and learning that they're going to be sentenced to prison time. This is the entity that's gang stalking, and that is documented and published online at 208 South Euclid Avenue, license 5PYX651. Gang stalking with their whole family. They like to come out while the fake sun is aimed on me after I leave the Upland Public Library. That light activity that's on Arco is over here as they're engaging in sexual assault and battery. And while I'm at this venue, while I'm walking down the neighborhoods engaging in terrorism, stalking by the entity that's maintaining plane and helicopter activity in Upland, as I've documented it. But I just want to document this because this is the same population, the same city, the same neighborhood that's going to be subject to martial law. All right, this is the P.O.C. It is currently 6:35 a.m. All right, here's the psychopath. He did his round, walking around while the entity is amplifying plane activity. This is police impact. This is a demon, okay? And fake sun. Jay Montez is under the fake sun at the Ontario City Hall yesterday at the same time. The entity is maintaining, the entity is maintaining the fake sun over me at the Ovid Family Community Library. I go to the Ontario City Hall during the 9 a.m. hour, reminding you about the fake sun that's still here at 9:29 a.m. This demon walks around this way. He's stalking. And this is just showing how this is the non-humans that are wearing police uniforms that are going to be removed from the positions that they're in. To go out of your way to merely want to come take a lap around me is speaking to how much they worship me. And it's entirely inappropriate and entirely unfit. And it's also a threat to the public that the entity is actually engaged in this conduct while representing who are in, first of all, who are sane, who are law-abiding citizens, and that they're engaged in actual surveillance. Okay, this is the P.O.C. The entity is keeping the fakes over me at 7:33 a.m. and the entity is engaged in that which is laughable to me, but this is what you, the masses, need to know about. The Upland Police Department are demons. They are the Nephilim. They are worshiping me. This demon came and engaged in the ritual under the fake sun that is still here upon my exit. And he walks around this way. He's walking all around me. This is what the entity does when they're stalking by helicopter. And they're walking in circles, they're pacing all around, monitoring. That's a monitoring spirit wearing a police uniform. That's criminal activity under the law. It is absolutely criminal that he is present, period. This is surveillance. This is the police that are engaging in criminal activity. Moreover, you're getting to the weirdness of their psychotic, demonic behavior while they're engaged in what is psychological torture. And they're doing so while they're walking in circles around me, and the entity begins amplifying plane activity. And this is speaking to how bothered that they are, how consumed with me they are, and how they are not people. These are not humans, these are demons. And this is speaking to Marcelo Blanco. Marcelo Blanco, you're being prosecuted. So if you wanted a more confirmation about that, this is actually why. You are exposing the fact that you are a demon to the world. That embarrassing fact that I confirm with not only the behavior, your criminal activity, but the environment where that department is stalking. You're not even a police department. This is the P.O.C. If you want more information, continue to peruse my social media, where you are already convicted. You're a terrorist leader, and that's why you have cockroaches that are stalking me. This is the P.O.C. It's pathetic. This is pathetic. It's currently 7:34 a.m. He's stalking in the path. It's not a police department. It's not law enforcement. He came to experience Erica. Came to experience pacing around me. That's a demon. Those are the demons that worship me. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the fake sun. I want to document the entity that's engaged in serial stalking and doing so with the stalkers out of the Upland Police Department. This is the third party that's there yesterday that I'm referring to in the podcast. And while I'm inside of the same library after 5 p.m. where he's stalking and the entity's amplifying plane activity, this is the serial stalker that's engaging in that, engaging in vagina monitoring serially with the Upland Police Department and with the employees of the Upland Public Library. I just want to be clear, the Upland Police, I call them, all you're doing is showing that you're demons, showing that you're mentally ill. You're going to be committed. You're not just losing your career in law enforcement, which has been found out as a ruse for being stalkers, okay? So while you're coming around and marching around me, you are giving allegiance to Christ Jesus. It's already known that you are inferior, and you're also found guilty of the allegations asserted, and you are going to prison. All of you that engaged in kidnapping, you know who you are. I know who you are, and so do the feds. Okay? And there are a plethora of people that are also going to be federally prosecuted based on what you've engaged in and what you're still engaging in. And the people that say, everybody that's documented by license plate, this is your confirmation. While a so-called police department is stalking me, I'm not the one to focus on, and this is why you're subject to prison. So the entity is engaging in what is inflicting itself more intentional detriment to itself. You are absolutely going to federal prison, and this is why you are, because the police are stalkers. They're coming around stalking me, which is worshiping me, monitoring me, and you're doing so in conformity to the pattern of conduct by cockroaches that are wearing police uniforms, spending gas, fuel, resources on putting them in vehicles to come around and march around me. Okay, this is the P.O.C. Many of the people that stayed in Upland, California that are stalking by helicopter at 7th Street and Euclid Avenue that are under the fake sun that I'm documenting, you are subject to federal prison. And this is a confirmation of that. The Upland Police Department stalking, which is speaking to their being in fear, is a confirmation for you. This is what you're in for, the translation of that. You're subject to prison, and you're going to find out about what you've been sentenced to. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 7:40 a.m. Okay, at approximately 8:59 a.m., the homosexual that is stalking in Upland, California using a helicopter. This is the far-reaching and expensive means that is relevant to the demons that are occupying a government building where they are going to be forcefully removed and publicly removed from position. That's speaking to the gang stalker Bill Velto and the Upland City Council and all the city of Upland employees who are demons. This is the Nephilim that's in Upland, California, that are, again, desperate for some form of acknowledgement from me. Demons that are obsessively stalking me, and they're doing so in the face of all the witnesses that know that they are exposed as criminals and nothing close to what they've sought to represent themselves as. While they're doing so, as they are humiliated but exposed truthfully in this evidence, which is the P.O.C. The entity is stalking, engaging criminal summoning. This is psychopathic conduct. Demons that are out of their minds, and so they keep using these emergency vehicles. It's not funny. Mental illness is not funny, but this is pathetic. And this is what I engaged in an at-length discussion about last night regarding the mentally ill that are desperate, that are, again, purposeless, that are suicidal, that are also fearful about the demise that is coming and the demise that the world is also going to witness. And so to date, down to the moment, 8:59 a.m., in fact, you have a stalker that's using an emergency vehicle, sounding sirens, while a stalker with Erica Spencer on the brain, a psychopath, a demon, or literally a creature that is operating a helicopter. And while a bunch of demons that are all around, all together, fixated on me, which is worship. The demon-possessed idolize me and are stalking in a helicopter. And this is documented while I'm at Upland Public Library. There is no sun over the Ontario City Hall. The Ontario City Hall, the impossible light activity inside Ontario City Hall, the fake sun that's over me while Jay Montez is gang stalking me at the Ontario City Hall, is the evidence to have a sex offender, an undiagnosed psychopath like himself, which is proven through my evidence of him stalking. And that evidence is confirmed on an ongoing basis while the city of Upland is stalking and sharing in that same mental illness, the pattern of conduct, which is serving for the psychiatric evaluation of those that are wearing Upland police uniforms and are operating what is a headquarters for stalking, calling itself a fire department, which is supposed to disguise the fact that they're merely sex offenders that are being paid to be engaging in stalking, with those that are spending a wealth of resources mandating the removal of terrorists like Bill Velto and the Upland City Council from position, while they are providing literally money to engage in what is worshiping me. Just flying next to me, flying around me, sounding your sirens. Their chaos is their worship of me, and it is an ongoing concession and admission to inferiority and also fear. The demons are very fearful because of the level of exposure. They are also very fearful because of their realized inferiority. They are also fearful because of the truth that they've learned about themselves. Because you are mentally ill, when you do not recognize how sick you are, they are also very fearful because of the consequences that they're suffering, and they're going to suffer in front of all of you. Remember, humiliation on top of federal consequences is the worst for Satan. And this is Satan operating in Upland, California. This is the entity stalking by helicopter, in other words. The entities engaged in this, while these are those that they have nothing to live for. So literally on their deathbed, they're sitting up staring at pictures of me. They are engaging in what is still doing what they can with regard to those that have the physical capacity to still stalk me in honor of the demon that's dying on their deathbed. This is how they are ending what is no longer underway. There will be no gang stalking fire department in Upland. There will be no gang stalking police department. There will be no gang stalking ambulances. There will be no gang stalking venues that are making millions of dollars in the city of Upland, like these corporations, as I've shown you. And they're also going to compensate me. And down to this level of evidence that I have, this is speaking to why you're being removed from office, why you're going to federal prison, how long you're going to federal prison, and why those that engage in the like are going to suffer those same consequences. This is the example that the mentally ill that make up the city of Upland serve. And that's all that they are accomplishing when they are making themselves a literally a mark for history regarding what not to do. This is the entity that's engaged in that P.O.C. stalking by regarding what is criminal summoning on the ground while the demon possessed, who are many documented by license plates. So take a look at the video that is published on the YouTube channel and the prosecution of the people of the state, domestic terrorists, because they're license plates. These are the entity that are going to federal prison. And the entity that's going to federal prison are those that are occupying office in Upland, California, those that are on the city council, those engaged in kidnapping, a part of any police department. And you know that is the entity that's gang stalking as a so-called police officer engaging in kidnapping. And I want to be clear, when you are anticipating prison, and it's being openly exposed, you're going to prison for putting your hands on me, for ever engaging in criminal summoning, engaging in kidnapping, anything that you did, you're going to prison for it. When you are facing that, and then you're engaging in what is this open engagement in criminal activity, it's not because they're brave, and it's not because they think that it's a joke. It's the exact opposite. It's because they're holding back tears. It's because they are fearful. It's because those that are connected to them should very much be fearful, because you're going to go down with them, and you're going down in poverty. You're also going down in humiliation, and this is a part of what is judgment. This is not wishing evil. This is the fact of what happens when you engage in the spiritual and physical offenses that the mentally ill, the Nephilim, have committed and are continuously committing in Upland, California. And stalking me in helicopter is only giving me more money from your pockets. You are the one that are going to be sleeping outside. You're the one that's going to not be released from prison. You're going to be spending decades in prison, not me. You're the one that will never be in office, and everyone will know why. It's not going to be a quiet retirement and a disappearance and you taking off your savings and go. You're not doing any of that. None of that's going to happen. I'm just letting you know. The entities engage in this while they're just pacing all around with impossible light activity. They have been mentally ill, and now they are being that unadulterated mentally ill population with no control over what's happening to them. None. This is that P.O.C. and this is ongoing moment by moment detail regarding the evidence and the downfall of the demon possessed that are gang stalking in California. This is that entities doing so while they are monitoring their own demise. Because that's all you're doing when you're stalking me on August 26, 2026. You're monitoring your own demise. And you're doing it before the witnesses. All right? This is the P.O.C. It is currently 9:08 a.m. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. The sun did not remain at the Ontario City Hall where Jay Montez in the Ontario City Hall is gang stalking. The entity that's gang stalking me while I'm walking to Upland Public Library this morning, which occurs at 10:19 a.m., is not going to happen today. I'm already at the library where the entity is speaking to what is knowledge about me. Excuse me, do you know who I am? No. You've never met me before? No? You sure? Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. This is the entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct. She's stalking in the path. She's engaging in what is harassment. She walks up, engaging in the pattern of conduct under the fake sun with all the people of the state. They're engaging in this with minor children, and they're engaging in what is crossing a path. This is already a threat. This is what the Upland Police Department committed this morning. And as a third party is engaging in what is crossing path, which is the entity that is conspicuously surveilling you, and then the entity is amplifying plain activity. Doing so with the Upland City Hall, doing so with the Upland Library. That's a psychopath who's admitting that she doesn't know me while she's engaging in the pattern of conduct. This is the entity that's engaged in that and doing so at what is 9:51 a.m. This is the entity that's going to federal prison. This is that P.O.C. And the entities engaging in this, and they are, as gang members, demonstrating as though they are engaging in the norm, and the target individual is the exception, and that's why you're going to be committed. All right, and the entity is engaging in what is criminal summoning with the stalker that you saw this morning, the Upland Police Department. This is the entity that's under a fake sun that's remaining over me in Ontario, California right now. And that's why I want you to see the face of demons. I want you to see them with their demon-possessed children while the demons are stalking in the sky space and admitting that they do not know me while they're gang stalking. This is that P.O.C. It is currently 9:52 a.m. Take a good look at all the while they're being documented and shown to be the entity that's our violent sex offenses, another lesbian with a baby, gang stalking me, focused on me, and is engaging what is being humiliated as she should be, laughing when nothing is funny, when she's engaging in criminal activity and furtherance of murder, and she has an infant child. This is that pattern of conduct. This is the fake sun, and everything that you say is going to be used against you. So the more that you talk, and this is why I also document, the more that you talk, you're going to be in a mental institution. They're all gang stalking together. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that has the entity stalking me by helicopter, and you're stating that you don't know me. You already know that they're stalking by jets. That's already established. I want you to analyze their behavior because they're being prosecuted. This is P.O.C. Demons, creatures every day. The Nephilim are giving birth to monitoring spirits. That's what this is letting you about. That's what this is letting you know about. P.O.C. Alrighty, so I'm inside of the Upland City Hall. This is relevant regarding what I am documenting and what I am proving. All right, this is inside of a bathroom. This is legally relevant. This is relevant, not only the location, but the person that's in the bathroom in the specific environment. This is 9:58 a.m. Serial stalker in the bathroom in particular. Sexual slant to the gang stalker engaging in serial stalking. This is the entity that's engaging what is stalking in the bathroom, pacing in and out of the bathroom, coming from home with their children to go to the city hall, waiting for the library to open to engage in vagina monitoring. Okay, this is the fake sun that's over the Upland City Hall. It's right over the top of my head as I'm being stalked in the bathroom. Vagina monitoring. The sex offender that is the Upland City Hall. Okay, where the mayor is engaged in sexual violence. This is the municipality. And this is speaking to directly contending with a psychopath that's targeting me with the military that's flying over the top of my head, stating that you don't know me. Those are the same psychopaths that are going to be put in mental institutions. They're going to be separated from the children that they're gang stalking with. This is the fake sun that's over the top of my head where you're emptying the garbage as a means of stalking in the path. And this is where you're able to see what is the mental illness that the entity seeks to keep concealed. All right, looking down, keeping your back while they maintain any method of activity. And that's what this is when the supernatural is evident and in your in your silence or while you are foolishly speaking. The entity is engaging in what is the admission to not only being a criminal engaging in surveillance, the psychopathic pattern of conduct, which is speaking to public corruption, and also the entity that's doing so while they are compensated as terrorists, which is the city of Upland employees, gang stalking under a fake sun, which cannot possibly remain in Ontario at the same time. But that's what I have while I'm inside of a building right now, under the fake sun at 10:04 a.m. I am simultaneously, which is impossible. It's also impossible because I'm also at this same venue, exiting this library at 6 and 7 p.m. where the sun, contrary to what I have on the record, where Upland police, remember they were doing stalking me this morning, just like the people of the state stalking while they're claiming, oh no, I don't know who you are. Okay, Satan, that's fine. So the entities engage in this pattern of conduct, and this is what you're mindful of. Not only is the fake sun still over me, as I'm documenting, yesterday evening, as I exit this same library at 6:34 p.m., this is the same Upland Veterans Monument area, okay, where the employees of the government building, the Upland City Hall, are, and I keep saying Ontario because it is the government building of the Ontario City Hall that's simultaneously being prosecuted for public corruption. And this is public corruption regarding not stealing money and drug trafficking. It's bigger than that, and those types of crimes are incorporated in what is public corruption. The entities engage in that in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder. However, it is pursuant to what is domestic terrorism, gang stalking, while a government body is engaging in stalking, which is what the evidence of a fake son being over an American citizen shown to be targeted in that environment. And this is proven through the supernatural. Yesterday evening at 6:34 p.m., and I will show you the timestamp to be clear, while I'm coming from the inside of the Upland Public Library, where I'm showing you impossible light activity at what is 5:19 p.m. The entity is maintaining a fake sun upon my exit of the same Upland Public Library. And this is what you are witnessing outside of the same venue right now at 6:34 p.m. And it is currently 10:08 a.m. where this is the same location. This is the direction I'm facing yesterday. So this is the entity suggesting that the natural environment would be at 10:08 a.m. 10:04 is when I'm starting this video, and 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8.5 hours later, the sun would merely be here, which is what I'm capturing as I'm walking outside of the Upland Public Library. And this is supposed to be sunlight, and that's supposed to be the sun that is engaged in negligible movement, and that's what that is when you're going from one side of the Veterans Monument to the other. And remember that it remains over my head, so when I walk to the Upland Public Library side, this demon is stalking in the path. okay? Who knows that she was documented before, and that's okay, because when she's prosecuted, these are all the facts that a federal court is going to utilize with regard to sentencing, all right? And also commitments. The entity is engaging in this conduct while the fake son is remaining, also as a matter of showing you what is stalking by a government body, stalking by a population who claims that they don't know you while they're targeting, okay, like this psychopath here. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. The son did not remain at the Ontario City Hall where Jay Montez in the Ontario City Hall is gang stalking. The entity that's gang stalking me while I'm walking to Upland Public Library this morning, which occurs at 10:19 a.m., is not going to happen today. I'm already at the library where the entity is speaking to what is knowledge about me. Excuse me, do you know who I am? You've never met me before? No? You sure? Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. This is the entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct. She's stalking in the path. She's engaging in what is harassment. She walks up, engaging in the pattern of conduct under the fake sun with all the people of the state. They're engaging in this with minor children, and they're engaging in what is crossing a path. This is already a threat. This is what the Upland Police Department committed this morning. And as a third party is engaging in what is crossing path, which is the entity that is conspicuously surveilling you. And then so the entity is engaging in what is stalking, as I've already shown, by aerial surveillance flying over the top of my head by military planes and jets and helicopters while you are doing so, walking toward me, right next to me, like a psychopath, silently under the fake sun. And the entity's doing that while they monitor evidence to engage in psychopathic iterations of stalking and harassing someone silently. And the entity's engaging in that. And so that's why I go to that domestic terrorist and document her and the threat that she poses to me. And she's targeting as an entity in this environment. And that is also speaking to what is psychopathic, mentally ill behavior, highly malicious, in furtherance of murder by the government, with whom that demon in custody of a child is targeting me. Okay, the entities engaging in this with the people of the state and the local government body. The mayor is compensating, the Upland, city of Upland is compensating stalkers, because that's what this is. As I walk inside, and they even use the same ones. This is all very specific to me. But for me documenting, you're talking about the demon possessed that engage in the pattern of conduct. But when I give attention to it, when I document it, they will engage in it again and again, which is also evidence of them monitoring. This is the direct evidence, the scientific evidence that she is stalking me, and specifically while the entity is keeping the fake sun, as I documented yesterday in Ontario, California. And at 10:19 a.m., which 10:19 is going to occur while I've been already in Upland, California, there will be no position of me on North Euclid Avenue walking north in this direction while it's already here. That would require there to be another sun that is traveling north of Euclid Avenue for me to then arrive here, and that fake sun, which I documented, which arrives over me. That's not what this is. Upland police are stalking this morning at 7:30 and engaging with a psychopathic pacing, communicating a nonverbal threat while they are engaging in what is gang stalking, wearing that police uniform, and doing so while the people of the state, just like I'm documenting, they're going to prison and they're going to be committed and they're going to be prosecuted as terrorists. And so are the gang stalkers of any police department, including Upland Police. Yesterday at this time, where the entity is keeping the fake sun over me on the inside of the Upland City Hall, where the fake sun is at the top of my head right over me, and this entity is shown to be stalking me in the bathroom, which is where sex offenders are engaging in surveillance on behalf of a public entity at 10:08 a.m. on Euclid Avenue at 846 and 848 North Euclid Avenue. The entity is stalking me by helicopter, like you see here at 10:08 a.m. as they are monitoring me, stalking and threatening is what this is, while I'm documenting the pattern of conduct with the fake sun over me in this parking lot where the demon possessed are engaged in monitoring me by venue, okay? Those that are associated with the venue, that are on the grounds of the venue, engaging in acts of harassment, retaliation, and associating themselves with any venue that is being documented, which is doing nothing other than directing the evidence toward you. I will target you with the evidence, and you will be subject to what is a direct and publicly exposed prosecution. And also likely involuntary commitment. But this is what the entity is doing while the entity is stalking with helicopter. This is at 10:09 a.m. The entity then proceeds to engage in stalking me by helicopter, which is what I'm documenting at 10:19 a.m. And this is on North Euclid Avenue, where I'm already in Upland. So I'm already present and have been present before 8 a.m. today and yesterday. At this time, I am en route. I'm still traveling I'm traveling north to this destination, the same destination. The two are mutually incompatible. It's mutually exclusive. And this is where psychopaths are targeting me with the military and then being humiliated as I put my camera in this demon's face, who is a sex offender in custody of a child, engaging in public corruption with the U.S. government, and is speaking to exhibiting severe mental instability while lying, while the evidence is directly over her head, claiming that she does not know who I am. She is targeting, you are targeting that whom you are aware of. The pattern of conduct is not accidentally nor coincidentally executed. It is the P.O.C. and it is by stalkers. This is the entity that's engaged in this at 10:19 a.m., which is 4 minutes from right now, okay? Here is the entity that is admitting to the mental illness of Jay Montes. Jay Montes is severely psychopathic. While they're sharing a pattern of conduct 9VQF1, impossible light. Now, this is the part in the video where you will witness the mental instability of those that are shared by the people of the state who openly admit that they do not know me personally, and yet they are engaged in targeting. This impossible light activity is the evidence of this third party who spoke to not knowing me while she's gang stalking me at the Upland Public Library, while the fake son has yet to arrive here pursuant to the analysis provided for a natural environment, while this population, which she is a part of, is stalking with impossible light. While they're stalking me, flying over my head by helicopter, engaging in what is admitting to them being stalkers, them being the people of the state. All right, this is the military that has been engaged in serial killings, child rapings, kidnappings, the entity that's defaming your character and maintaining what is a criminal surveillance system. This is what Jay Montes is engaging in by stalking me inside of the Ontario City Hall. He's psychotic. He's stalking me. All right, and that's a whole population of creatures. These aren't even humans. Creatures are not supposed to be on the roads and the highways. Creatures are engaging in murder, and they maintain a whole fraudulent insurance system. This is how obsessed with me they are. The inferior, P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaging in that. You see the light activity across the tree? This is what's going to be removed from the roads and the highways. This is mentally ill behavior. 9FGF668, 9TEA925, the demon possessed. This is what was operating the golf cart, calling himself a Securitas security guard. This is what was driving an Ontario police vehicle, calling himself a police officer. Jay Montes is going to be committed. You're not just going to prison for criminal activity. You're going to... This is an entity that's engaged in this under the fake sun that you see remaining over me stationary at the Upland City. This is the fake sun at 1108 North Euclid Avenue. In doing so at what is 10:19. So this is, I'm at the same place. At the same time, I'm in two different cities and two different locations. And this one I've been at since before 7:30 a.m. where the Upland police went out of their way, as I captured on video, to communicate a threat which shall be responded to by the federal government, because an American citizen against whom any terrorist agency like the Upland police are engaging in levying war against and psychological torture, the entity is going to be responded to by the federal government. And for the Upland police in particular, those terrorists are being disbanded. The entity is keeping this fake son, and the Upland police are also the reason why the population is gang stalking, which is an unlawful threat committed in furtherance of murder. And the entity is engaged in what is exhibiting severe mental instability while they are gang stalking, while the fake son's in Ontario. This is understanding the totality of evidence regarding what is absurd with regard to the environment and what is the absurdity of the impossible light activity and the severe mental instability of those that are targeting you and then denying that they know you while they are targeting you. That is under no circumstances any basis that will justify what is criminal summoning and criminal defamation by this entity that is engaged in the P.O.C. Okay, so this is the entity that's engaging in that, and this is the entity that's doing so while they are monitoring evidence. And it is my purpose to make sure that the mentally ill are exposed, the terrorists are exposed for who they are. Okay, this is that P.O.C. You are in the specific environment. It is known already what you are and what you're doing and what you know. So while you lie and while you target and harass and whatever other crimes you're committing, collateral to gang stalking me and furtherance of murdering me, you're going to be committed, you're going to prison. And the entity will be prosecuted right along with you. This is the entity that's under that fake sun. It is currently, as you can see, 10:21 a.m. where demons in concert with their children are stalking, and I've yet to arrive here yesterday, and neither did the fake son. Only in the Unnatural environment, which is the identification of a crime scene where the entity is stalking me by helicopters, following me around and doing so on an ongoing basis, even following me into the bathroom. That's what's behind the audible activity under a fake sun. And this is how you are understanding everything happening in that environment is very much personal. And this is the entity that's been documented stalking me in the evening yesterday. Remember, at 7th Street in Euclid, and all the wealth of evidence, all those license plates. This is why that population is subject to federal prison, because they are still gang stalking. The same demons that are stalking by helicopter on the roads and the highways, keeping your back to me, looking at your stroller, staring at your phone, they're stalking. The sun is not here yesterday. And these are lily white lesbians that give birth to demons. They do so every day. Because you give birth to a child does not mean you're not a homosexual. This is showing that you're a homosexual, okay, that you're monitoring vagina. That's the pattern of conduct. This is the entity that's under a fake sun. Conspicuously stalking is a federal offense committed by the government in concert with the population. All right, and this is a threat posed by the entity that's gang stalking. This is P.O.C. At 10:19 a.m., I'm still on Euclid Avenue, where the entity is stalking me by helicopter. This is P.O.C. P.O.C. License 8FWN874, and this is UPS. That is, again, coming from the Ontario International Airport is not this. And coming from any airport at this low elevation is speaking to targeting with the people 61701 George 4. And the entity is doing at facilitating venue North Euclid Avenue and H as in Henry Street, where the entity is sun over me. This entire neighborhood that you hear honking the horn, this entire neighborhood is monitoring. That's an indicator regarding the fake sun. The fake sun that is at what is, I want to be clear, what you're listening to is impunity of the mentally ill, and they're going to be addressed by medical professionals and by federal law. That's impunity. It's 7:06 p.m. The fake sun is over me at American Inn in the morning at this time of year. The entity has a fake sun over me while Southwest Airlines and United Airlines are gang stalking at Grove Avenue. In the morning when I'm coming from Ontario, walking to Upland, California, you are looking at the evidence of me capturing the fake sun in the evening. The entity is engaged in that and the psychopathic conduct of stalking with audible activity. That's not honking a horn. That's a demon that's obsessively and with a hysteric means, a mania with regard to monitoring, okay? This is the entity that's stalking to murder. 9REG197, and so is that commercial actor, that logo on that vehicle. This is the P.O.C. and UPS, the corporation, is gang stalking at the same location where Southwest Airlines coming from Terminal 4 will not, just like United Airlines, coming from the Ontario International Airport, nor is UPS coming from any location on the grounds of the airport is hovering over here, is anywhere in the sky space. So while the entity is stalking and doing so through any courier such as FedEx, which is gang stalking while I'm at I Street in Euclid, none of this has anything to do with the operations of the airport. The operations of the airport are proving stalking. And when an airport is stalking you, an airport is stalking because in what is a public entity's criminal pattern of conduct, which is committed in furtherance of murder. And the entity's doing this as of August 26, 2026, while they are keeping the evidence under surveillance. Look at what UPS is doing. This is now you're flying what is crossing path. This is psychopathic pacing, while they are now flying north in alignment to me in what is amber light, where demons are stalking with noise. 7 Edward Queen Barry 952. Stalking with UPS, the corporation, 9LJK103. UPS is a threat to national security. And you should know that, because in Kentucky, where there is a fake sunset in the video evidence of UPS crashing into a building where people are harmed and killed by that is no accident, where Kentucky is engaged in surveillance just like these demons who are gang stalking. This is the crime scene where third-party stalkers like UPS intentionally crash into buildings. And that is also what UPS is telling everyone about the threat that they pose while they are making money and engaging in surveillance. And they're doing so while they know that they are keeping the evidence against themselves under surveillance and then still stalking. This is the P.O.C. What UPS is doing, the entire airline industry is doing, what UPS is doing at facilitating venue 8th Street and Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California, the entire city of Ontario, which is the state of California, is doing it. This is the federal government's pattern of conduct. The same federal government that is stalking me by helicopter at the same location, in the same neighborhood, amongst the same demon-possessed who are mentally ill. And this is necessitating, mandating, supporting what is martial law. This is P.O.C. Martial law shall cause companies like UPS to cease to exist, and they will compensate to a destructive degree, meaning you're going to pay so many damages that company shall not exist anymore, because you cannot quantify or calculate a dollar amount on the life and the psychological torture that corporations like UPS are engaging in, and they do it with impunity. Absolutely, damages to the degree that that company cannot survive, will not survive, and should not survive. There's no constitutional right to be a gang stalker, which is what UPS is. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:09 p.m. All right, sexual assault and battery, 9BZN 165. This is a sex offender waiting, stalking in the parking lot with headlights toward me, and you know that they're not touching with their headlights. That's a demon coming in, doesn't know me, right? That's what the sex offender, the lesbian, said this morning, and the evidence is right above her head, and that evidence is going to be used to have sex offenders like these committed. This entity is engaging with a sexual assault and battery where they are obsessively stalking, doing so at the senior center, and that third-party license plate is engaging that as an entity, meaning one sex offender is not acting by themselves. You're surrounded by sex offenders, okay? That's the P.O.C. It is currently 7:23 p.m. where the entity is stalking by UPS planes and engaging in sexual assault and battery while I'm in the parking lot of the same Ontario City Hall, where you could see damning evidence published about this gang stalker today regarding June 23rd, 2026. This is where the entity is engaging in sexual assault and battery, which, again, the gang stalker itself is aware of the terrorists that fill the city of Ontario. Okay, that's the POC. It is currently 7:24 p.m. That's a white Tesla.